William is Charles's son, and Harry is very much Diana's son. Because think about it, and you realize that he is not taking anything away from William, but Harry processed his mother's death very differently than William did. William had another track. William was and is preparing to be king. Harry admits he had a line, a throwaway line, that I want you guys to listen closely when he says it. And Addie, I don't know if you heard this. He said, talking about mourning his mother, he goes, "I was left alone to process my mother's death," which tells me the infrastructure of the palace were not there. You know, they were rightfully so constant. It's not a fault of William, but that's why if you have watched your mother go through what we all watched Diana go through, and if you're Harry and your mother got killed because of that, wouldn't you do everything in your power to prevent that happening to your wife and child? And that's exactly what Harry did. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I walked away a bigger fan because I have a much better appreciation for what they really went through. I really do.
And they're all on board with this,
which,
right?
Look, you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is through their lens. But think about this. We've only heard their story through the mechanism of the palace and the gross tabloid press. Don't you think they have a right to tell their story? Go watch it on Netflix.
Imagine a 12-year-old boy walking behind his mother's coffin, the world watching, cameras clicking relentlessly. He is a prince, expected to be strong, to hide his grief. This moment would echo through his life, a wound that never truly closed. Prince Harry's story is not just about royalty, but about loss, survival, and the search for peace. Today, we look beyond the headlines to explore the truth behind a prince's pain. This is a story of breaking free from the pressures of an ancient institution. The monarchy can protect, but it can also imprison. Harry's journey reminds us that behind every crown is a human heart that can break. His struggle speaks to the universal fight for mental well-being. It's about breaking cycles of pain passed down through generations. Let's begin by understanding the boy before the man, the boy whose world shattered on a summer's day in Paris. The public mourned a princess. He mourned his mother. His grief was shared with millions, a public performance at a tender age. This trauma grew in the shadows of palace walls, watered by silence and expectation. It would shape everything that followed. Life inside the royal family is a gilded cage, palaces and privilege, but little personal freedom. As the spare, Harry's path was never his own. His life was scripted, emotions managed, not expressed. After his mother's death, there was no space to grieve. He was told to carry on. Suppressing pain is like holding a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it bursts. For Harry, that breaking point came years later. The army offered refuge. He was Captain Wales, judged by skill, not bloodline. But the escape was temporary. The royal world always waited. The trauma remained, a silent passenger. Expectations were immense. He was the fun-loving prince, but it was a mask. Behind it, he battled anxiety and panic attacks. The world saw luxury. Inside, he felt trapped. The institution meant to protect him was also the source of his suffering. The paradox defined his existence. The cage, however golden, was still a cage. The pain, unspoken, grew. Harry's struggle was not for rebellion, but for survival. Two brothers, William and Harry, shared the same loss but faced different destinies. William, the heir, had a clear path, prepared for the throne, supported by the institution. Harry, the spare, had an ambiguous role, left to navigate without direction. William's structure offered stability. Harry's lack of purpose left him adrift. Their responses to trauma diverged. William reconciled grief with duty, becoming a pillar of the monarchy. Harry's emotive nature clashed with rigid expectations. The system protected the heir but neglected the spare's emotional well-being. Harry questioned, pushed boundaries, and realized survival might mean leaving. William found his place within. Harry sought his outside. Two brothers, one heart, but different paths to healing. The institution shaped them, but did not define their choices. Harry's journey became one of self-discovery. The contrast between their destinies was stark. The royal system offered support to one, constraint to the other. Their paths, though parallel, led to very different places. Royal life is a performance. Smiles, waves and duty, but little room for real emotion. Harry's public persona hid severe anxiety and panic attacks. The monarchy demands perfection. Weakness is a threat. Asking for help was seen as failure. Harry felt trapped, with no one who truly understood. The culture of silence made healing impossible. Grief and anxiety require acknowledgement, not suppression. Harry coped by shutting down, trying not to think about his mother. The contrast between his military life and royal life was stark. Control abroad, turmoil at home. The army gave temporary relief, but the wounds festered. The system ignored his pain, demanding he appear flawless. The crisis could not be contained forever. Silence became unsustainable when Harry met Meghan Markle. She saw his pain and offered a new perspective, emotional well-being as a priority. Together they proposed a new model, serve the crown, but with personal freedom. They asked for compromise, not abandonment. Their plea was a cry for help, signalling the damage to their mental health. The institution, rigid and ancient, saw their proposal as a threat, not a solution. The message was clear: all in or all out. The system refused to bend, even to protect its own. This failure confirmed Harry's fears. The monarchy prioritized image over well-being. Their cry for help went unheard. The door to compromise closed. For Harry, healing meant leaving. The choice was survival. The institution's inability to adapt was a turning point. Only one path remained: out. Stepping back from royal duties was not rebellion. It was self-preservation. Harry saw history repeating. The same hostile media, the same lack of support. He refused to let his family suffer as his mother did. This was not an escape from duty, but a fight for survival. Imagine a house on fire. If help doesn't come, you get your family out. The relentless pressure and toxic media made staying impossible. Leaving meant sacrificing country, titles and family. It was a leap into the unknown, but the alternative was losing himself or his family. The decision was framed as Megxit, but Harry made it for his family's safety. He saw the warning signs and acted. It was the ultimate act of a husband and father. The choice was clear: family over institution. The cost was immense, but necessary. For Harry, it was about survival, not ease. Courage meant leaving everything he knew behind. The British tabloids shaped a narrative around Harry, first the tragic boy, then the party prince. When Meghan arrived, the media's attacks intensified, often with racist undertones. False stories became accepted as fact, distorting reality. The same actions praised in others were criticized in them. This barrage was psychological warfare, designed to wear them down. Harry recognized the pattern from his mother's experience. The palace and press had a symbiotic, often toxic relationship. Attempts to correct the record failed. The system was too entrenched. Speaking out was seen as attacking the monarchy, but they wanted to reclaim their narrative. Their goal was to explain the why, years of pain and lack of support. The media's mirror twisted their truth, but they fought to be heard. Harry's openness about mental health was revolutionary for a royal. He shattered stigma, showing it's okay to not be okay, even as a prince. His honesty inspired others, especially men, to seek help. Vulnerability became a strength, not a weakness. His story empowered people worldwide to confront their pain. The Invictus Games reflected his commitment to healing. Physical and mental recovery intertwined. He built a community for wounded veterans, embodying hope and resilience. Harry's legacy is compassion, not just royalty. His journey reminds us to look beyond headlines and see the human being. Everyone fights unseen battles. Harry turned trauma into a force for good, creating a legacy of healing. Every family has cycles of pain. The royal family is no exception. Harry's story is about breaking those cycles. He refused to pass trauma to his children, choosing to end the pattern. This was an act of love, a father saying, "This ends with me." He's forging a new path, prioritizing freedom and authenticity over tradition. Healing is a journey, not a destination. By stepping away and speaking his truth, Harry showed it's possible to rewrite your story. His journey gives hope to anyone feeling trapped by circumstance. The story isn't a fairy tale ending, but a real-life beginning. It's a testament to resilience and the power of hope. The bravest act is sometimes simply choosing to be well.